It's been a busy couple of weeks for the stocks and shares market, hasn't it? Goodness me, a bit of a wobble would be an understatement. But gold and silver doing exactly what you would want them to do, be that safe haven asset. Indeed, even growing in value over these last couple of tumultuous weeks. But with any crazy world and market comes the risk. The fear of missing out. Is now the time to sell your gold and silver and buy stocks and shares? Believe it or not, that's what some people have said. I don't think that that is the right thing to do, but I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do with your money. You should have a good long hard think about what is right for you, despite what many influencers might say about, for example, tariffs on Canadian products like the maples. Will that push these prices up and over? I don't know. I don't think so. It's crazy. The world is crazy. Let's dive in and have a good old precious metal ramble. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another precious metal ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. Now, it's been a busy couple of weeks for the world. Stock markets having a bit of a wobble is maybe an understatement, but it is certainly a little bit tumultuous. Trade wars, trade tariffs happening. Will Canadian maples, like the ones here on this table, suddenly command a massive premium? We'll talk about that and a little bit more, including my favorite topic of all, which is FOMO, fear of missing out. In the crazy TikTok era that we're in, of attention spans being no longer than about 20 seconds, you get a lot of media out there that calls for, because stocks are down, perhaps it's time to buy them. Perhaps also now's the time to buy silver and gold from Handily Dandily, a nice affiliate bonus code link down there. And now's the time to buy Maple Leafs because of those pesky Trump tariffs, or Libertads. Either way, there's a link in the description box below and you can get your deals there and fill other people's pockets with those commissions. Fear of missing out is a real thing. It's been a real thing ever since I started making videos here on YouTube, and I've always done my level best to talk about it from a realistic perspective. I've been there. I've panic bought, I've panic sold, and generally speaking, you live to regret it. You've got to make rational decisions about your own finances, about your own situations, and I want to talk a little bit about that today and share some of my thoughts. This is not financial advice. You know, everybody is free and willing to do whatever they want, but it's all about risk and risk management for me. And it always has been. It's about trying to work out what is right. And whilst, yes, we have seen evidence in the last few weeks that silver and gold are most assuredly smaller on the risk scale than stocks and shares. If you just look at the performance of gold and silver over these last few weeks compared with the stock markets, you cannot argue with the fact that holding gold and silver is just way safer. But over a longer period of time, stocks and shares have proven to do better. Whether they still will in the future is anybody's guess, but having diversity is so important. That is the key thing. So, a lot to get through, and I'd love to know what you think down in the comment section. So please feel free to share your thoughts on the current situations. Are you buying maples? Are you buying Libertads? Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? Or are you selling your gold and silver because, as you may have heard on some social media platforms, there are huge buying opportunities out there for stocks and shares, and certainly in this crazy, or Bitcoin, for example, cryptocurrencies are down. Now is the time to stack up and buy them, surely. It's just this kind of mentality of fear of missing out and this whole TikTok era of attention spans and wanting your gold and silver, or wanting any investment that you make, not just gold and silver, to be that one thing that's going to make you a millionaire. As Del Boy and Rodney says in Only Fools and Horses, maybe only you Brits out there will know the reference. We'll be millionaires next year, Rodders, because of any decisions that you might make. And often those can be biased, those can be influenced by influencers. The word influencer is there for a reason, and I'm not a massive fan of that phrase. I don't like it, but unfortunately any content creator has a social responsibility of that influence. And whether or not subliminally I've been, that's a hard word to say on YouTube, subliminally, I have been influencing you to buy gold and silver. In fact, I know I have, because when I went to Germany and I met a lot of people at the World Money Fair, a lot of them said that I was the reason they got into gold and silver in the first place, or that they are buying certain coins because I show them, and it's scary. It really is scary. What I will say, though, from my own experience and perspective is, if you are buying something and you've had a good long hard think about it, and you haven't made an irrational, fast-paced decision just to go ahead and buy it, then you've got to look at the reasons why you've done that. And if situations change, stocks and shares be a prime example. There are certain stocks and shares that I've got that are down significantly. I own some of the S&P 500, which is down nearly 12% from a few weeks ago. And you've kind of got to think to yourself, well, I could have sold it and not lost that 12%. Yeah, there's a 100% argument that I could have done that. And the similar rules could be said for silver and gold. If you've ever been through the peaks and troughs that is silver and gold, you could play that price point, trade it almost, and get those wins when you can and get those losses mitigated when you can as well. But generally speaking, it's better to hold for the long term. And in fact, I heard a very interesting opinion on the radio the other day from an options trader in the US who was commentating on, one of the presenters on this radio show just asked him, what's going on? Are things going to completely collapse? And nobody knows the future. And that's another thing to reiterate. Nobody knows the future, certainly for silver and gold as well as stocks and shares. And this gentleman just simply said that a lot of these big financial institutions are long on a lot of these things, and it is about that long term. There are going to be wobbles in markets, and you can theoretically look to play the markets and have them mitigated on those losses and capitalize on those gains. For example, could have sold the S&P 500 2 weeks ago, rode that wave down and rebought now, saved a lot of money, had more value in my pocket. Yep, definitely could have done that. But at the same time, it could have gone the other way, and it could go the other way any minute. You just never know. And the same can be said for gold and silver. When you're buying, a lot of people just stare at that spot price ticker and they go, oh, it's now the right time to buy. And you put it in your basket in the bullion dealers and you go, it's £1,200 or whatever it is you're buying. And oh, look, now it's 11.99. It's £1 saved if I just wait a bit more. And then it's 12.05 and then it's 12.03. And you just never know what's going to happen. If you have made the decision to buy something and hold it for whatever length of time you've got, and that exit strategy is clear in your mind about what you want to get from it, then just hold it and enjoy it and ride those waves, because they'll go up, they'll go down. And if you are drip feeding your investments into things like gold and silver, then that is a great idea to do. For my own experience and example here, let's grab this one here. So, oh no, this is the wrong flip, because this certainly wasn't a £400 coin when I bought it. I think this... I got it here in my box. No, I don't have the little slit next to it. Okay, well, I will look on my spreadsheet, but I'm pretty sure that I bought this coin for approximately £900 when I bought it back in 2017. Now, you could argue quite strongly that I could have put all my money back into gold and silver in 2017, and I will have had a humongous amount of profit on those coins. Yes, I could have done that, but I could have also have not made... Who would have predicted a COVID pandemic, global pandemic? Who would have predicted wars in Ukraine? Okay, granted, that might have been a little bit easier to predict, but who would have predicted all of the other bigger geopolitical situations happening? Who would have predicted Trump 2.0, arguably 50% plus of the US population? But... it's a crazy, crazy world, and things take a big change here and there all the time. You just never know where things are going to be. So drip feeding into this material, into gold and silver, is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to go about it. And riding that wave down has been something that I've done all the way throughout my buying career of silver and gold, and buying all the way up as well. It feels bad sometimes to buy all the way up when you've got money there, but drip feeding is often a really good sort of thing to do. Now, I want to finish up my video here on the influencer side of things and talk about fear of missing out and FOMO, and also just talk a little bit, I want to quickly address something that I saw. So I've been putting up a bunch of shorts on my channel, just reusing some of the old intros and comments and commentaries that I've been making over the last year, and it's been really helpful. It's helped the channel grow, it's helped bring new audience to the channel, which I love, and I think that's great. Never a massive fan of shorts myself, and it's certainly of this generation of TikTok generation, short generation of having the attention span of like a 20-second time frame now. And it's hilarious because a few of my videos where I've gone, is now the right time to buy gold and silver, or should you buy gold and silver right now? And you know what I'm like. If you're watching still to the 9th minute of this video, you know what I'm like. I like to ramble, I like to talk, and I ask questions. I engage those critical thinking skills so that we collectively, me, you, everyone in the camera there, can actually make the right decisions, as I've been trying to sort of talk about in this video. You make that right decision that's right for you in your own financial circumstances. So when you see people out there who watch a 20-second short and then comment on that short going, you didn't answer the question in 20 seconds, what am I supposed to do? Have a think for yourself. Don't rely on me, you don't rely on social media influencers to tell you what to do in a 20-second short. Oh my God, if you're making fast financial decisions on those kind of things in 20 seconds, then there's something seriously wrong. And 9 times out of 10, you'll make the wrong decision. 1 time out of 10, you might get lucky and have a good one. It's just staggers belief. And you can bet your bottom dollar that there are people out there talking about the Trump tariffs and how those are going to have influences on the price of maples, of libertads, potentially on European coinage now that those tariffs are coming in. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and there's so much out there. And the part of the problem, and I can't necessarily complain because I earn money from this video and from other videos that I put on YouTube. That's part of the problem. You get money for being provocative these days. So if I sit here on a video and I say, buy those maples because their Trump tariffs are making them more expensive and people are going to pay a premium for them because they can't get them elsewhere and they want to have them because they're maples and they're great, then you might want to do that. And then you might piss people off by saying that. You might piss the Canadians off by saying that. And then the Canadians will watch this video with anger. Fear sells. Anger sells. People watch more and engage more with things they don't like. The vast majority of times that I've done videos being negative on gold and silver far outweigh the ones where I've been positive on it. And as a consequence, you get more views. Now, that's not necessarily me just being clickbaity to get those videos. I like to put a contrarian opinion out there. I like to say that gold is crap and silver is crap compared with other things. But it's all about the context. It's all about the wider picture of your finances, about your situation, about what your exit strategies are, where you are in life. If you're in your 50s and you're retiring in 10 years' time, then you have a very different outlook to somebody in their 30s who is retiring in 30 years' time. There are just so many different things to think about, and there is no one-stop answer for everyone out there. It really is that simple and complicated at the same time, unfortunately. So what I will leave you with as parting inverted commas advice, because giving financial advice on YouTube is stupid, and also it's completely hypocritical for what I've just been saying. Don't pay attention to anybody on YouTube. But what I will say is don't pay attention to anybody on YouTube, including myself. Think for yourself, critically evaluate what's right for you, and then make the right decisions. If you're seeing some fringe social media saying sell your gold and silver, buy stocks and shares, maybe have a good long hard think about having the right balance in your stocks and shares portfolio, because let me tell you from personal experience, having stocks and shares in my portfolio, they are down. Gold and silver is up. That is the comparison and contrast of this last couple of weeks, and there is no doubting that I would be up the poo creek without a paddle had I put everything into stocks and shares. That's why I've got gold and silver. Having that hedge, having that different sort of variety that really protects me is really important. And listen, panic selling and panic buying is a thing that is real, and people get down rabbit holes, and it can be very difficult. So sometimes it's just about seeing those warning signs, maybe from yourself, taking a step back from it. There are lots of things. I fell down, of course, the rabbit hole of gold and silver, and look where I am today. There are some good things that happen from social media, but there are some bad things that happen from social media, and sometimes it's worth just turning off. Again, I'm just going to reference another little thing I heard on the radio, which was around something completely different. Really kind of extreme viewpoints and right-wing viewpoints, which, listen, we're not going to comment on politics on this channel. It's not really my state of affairs, but the context of the story is important. There was a person who was sharing a story on the radio about how he went down numerous rabbit holes of pretty extremist right-wing media and materials, and friends and family around him told him that he was changing to a different person that they didn't like. And so they kind of identified when things weren't quite right for people. And I think that's an important thing. Have conversations with friends and family, people you know about that do this, whether it be anonymously through social media. Engage with other people. That's really important. It's really, really important, especially if you're experiencing hard times on losses, for example, on stock markets. It's really, really important to do that and to talk through things and understand where things are in the grander context of everything. If you bought something a month ago because you felt that the longevity of it, the long-term position, the long-term hold of it was right for you, and things go down a month later, yeah, it stings and it sucks, but it still stands to why you bought it in the first place, and that's something to always remember. And that's where I'll tie back to gold and silver, because I've done that before when I've bought silver. I've bought God knows how much silver in my lifespan. What I've been doing this 9 years, and I use about 50 grand's worth of poured silver a year, 60 maybe sometimes. So across those, I've probably bought £500,000 worth of silver across my lifetime for my business. And there are some times I buy it and the price goes down immediately afterwards. In fact, that's happened, I think, more times than not. And it just is what it is. There are some few times it's gone up as well, but In fact, I've got a good friend that I joke with a lot of the time where when I've pulled the trigger on a huge silver purchase, I go, are you ready for spot price to drop? Because I've just pulled the trigger. And lo and behold, sometimes it bloody well does as well. So anyway, I've rambled on way too long now. I hope everybody's okay and staying safe in the crazy world that we're in. Gold and silver are great. Buy it if you want to buy it for the long term. Don't rely on it making you a boatload of money. Rely on it keeping your money safe, yes, because that's exactly what it's done over these last crazy couple of weeks on stocks and shares. And who knows where things will be. Even by this afternoon when I publish this video, things could have a pretty drastic change. We'll see. Anyway, that's it from me. Cool Kids Club members, you need to quote me something. And the only thing on the table with a serial number is this PF69 2005 beautiful, beautiful quintuple sovereign. And the camera isn't going to focus on it. Are we? Maybe get it closer. There we go. Camera's going to focus on it. So it's a long one. Oh boy, if you quote this, then you are in the super extra special Cool Kids Club. You need to quote me 69458813-012. That is the number to let me know that you are super special and cool. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.